All right, have and have not fans, kind of blitzing you all with have and have not videos, pretty much a spur of a moment kind of thing. Whenever I think of an idea, I jot it down, and as we get closer, look, I know May is a while away, but it'll be here before you know it. I mean, look at it this way: next week, this time will be February. Let that sink in. Yeah, this is pretty much about Hanna running the estate for a bit longer than anticipated. So before going forward in the video, make sure you take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. I think that with 8 episodes left and, not really sure if we're getting a time skip, epilogue, or a proper finale, I think it's safe to say Hanna will just end up remaining in control of the Crier estate because of the fact that Wyatt will never be in a condition where he can be able to utilize his money or fortune or inheritance, assuming he ever gets it back from Candace, which I doubt. Catherine's probably going to remain behind bars, and Jim, well, even if he never ends up in jail, he has no entitlement to Catherine's money, so it is what it is. But, I mean, well, Hanna did threaten to kill him, so there's that aspect of it. But I feel like if Hanna runs the estate, that's probably how things will just, well, end up because of the fact, I feel like one of the most defining factors in the reasoning behind this is that Tyler Perry did not have to write it where Hanna did her due diligence to learn about the ins and outs of business. Or maybe I shouldn't even say ins and outs. She worked hard to study. She's not an expert yet, but she knows more than the little old maid that people look at her and think she is. So I feel like it's one of those situations where Tyler could be writing in some gospel right here in the what's it called, like, where you feel like God put you into a situation that you're not prepared for, but he ends up preparing you for it. It's like faith without works is dead. Like Tyler could have easily written it where Hanna just did nothing. She just accepted the responsibility of running the estate, but instead of, working to do anything, she just relied on Catherine, where it's like, I'm not doing anything unless I get Catherine's thumbs up or thumbs down. And you could argue, well, Jeremy, that's exactly what she's doing. True, but at the same time, it's like she's doing it because she knows she's in charge of something that, number one, doesn't belong to her. Legally, it does now, but you know what I mean. And number two, it's one of those situations where until Catherine is, unable to function as the person making competent decisions, then I'm just going to rely on her. But she's done her homework. I mean, it's almost like, again, Catherine is the teacher who's able to help Hanna with whenever she has answers to her questions. But Hanna decides to study anyway. That way she knows how to do things and doesn't always have to rely on the teacher. So I feel like that's Tyler writing it so Hanna becomes, I guess you could say, competent enough to run things if the time or, situation ever occurs. But once again, with only 8 episodes and not knowing what's going to happen next, it's a possibility that we will never get a full conclusion to this, where we'll just end the series and Hanna's in charge, but we don't know what happens next. Like, does her kids ever get back the inheritance? Do her kids ever pay for taking the inheritance? It's just one of those things where I feel like by the end of it, Hanna will still be in charge. That's my opinion. I mean, we've been calling it since episode 2, where Candace is in Catherine's bedroom and Hanna tells her to get out. I was like, I want this house. And then she's like, you'll never have a house like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be Hanna's. Well, technically not that house because Catherine burned it down, but you know what I mean. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you would like to donate to the channel to make me a little bit closer to being as rich as a crier, or should I say, Catherine, because the criers aren't rich, Catherine is. Feel free to donate on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.